To our first virtual demo day of the season. We'll give everybody a few minutes to join. How are we all doing today? Oh, I saw two thumbs up from Meadville. I love it. Awesome. Oh, now we have joint thumbs up. Cool. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. So while we're getting situated, I'm Carrie. I'll be the MC for today. But we would love to hear from you. So in the chat, if you could just drop where you're joining from and maybe something that you're excited to see today during demo day. It's always really exciting because these are our culminating events, our showcase where teams from around the country get to showcase their projects, tell us a little bit more about their community partners who they've been working with, as well as their inventions. So we'll give everybody a minute to join and then, yeah, feel free to drop into chat. I'm calling from New York City today. We have Ohio in the house, the LA area. Canada, woo! We're international now. Yeah, and Caleb, we're really excited to, see all the efforts that these teams have put into their projects as well as have you here as one of our judges. Wisconsin, Palo Alto, DC. We have a pretty good representation here today. I love it. And we have Colorado. Yeah, coast to coast, exactly, Madison. I love it. Awesome. So I'll give everybody another minute just to say hi and welcome. But we do like to say, please utilize the chat during our demo day. This is a great way for you all to connect, to show encouragement to the other teams that are presenting, to ask questions while they're presenting, as well as during the Q&A. So yes, please utilize the chat, and that goes for everybody. Awesome. So, as I said, welcome to our first virtual demo day of the 2026 season. During this event, you're going to hear pitches from 4 teams of empathetic, innovative, talented students from across the country who have been working on creating inventions for social good. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our quick welcome, then we'll go to pitches. We have an amazing individual who's going to be joining us for our keynote, and then we'll do our awards and closing. So about Project Invent, we're a nonprofit that empowers students with future-ready mindsets to succeed individually and impact globally through invention. Our goal is to create the next generation of fearless and compassionate problem solvers. And as you heard me say that we are being joined by these teams that are innovative and empathetic and creative, and they're creating these projects for social good. They've interviewed what we call community partners, identified a challenge area, have built original inventions with the hope of solving these real world problems. So they haven't designed for hypotheticals. They're working with real people to tackle these real challenges. And with that, we have our change makers in the house, and they are leading with creative confidence, empathy, and ambition. So these are our 2 schools represented today. We have Nathaniel Narbonne Senior High School. So welcome, Narbonne. I see, yeah, the use of emojis. We love it, Amanda. Feel free to interact. And then we have Meadville Area Senior High School from Pennsylvania. So welcome. Awesome. Now, before we begin, we wanted to take a moment to shout out the incredible educators and facilitators who bring Project Invent to their learners, because this program would not happen without you. So we did collect a few notes, and our first shout out is for Jill. And Jill from Meadville is an innovative educator who brings creative approaches to her classroom. She's also been with Project Invent for years and an active member of our community, and is somebody who consistently encourages and uplifts those around her. And this year we also have Elaine. So Miss Bermudez is a champion for all learners from Narbonne, constantly iterating and finding solutions to problems which benefit all learners proactively. And also Deep. So Miss Alawat brings levity and joy to all interactions, coupling strong content knowledge with a quick joke and a smile. So we just wanted to say thank you. We see you, we appreciate you. We know there's so much that goes on in the world of education, and for you to take such dedication and time to bring Project Invent to your learners is so meaningful. So we just wanted to shout you out. So everybody, let's give a round of applause, utilize that chat, come off of mute, and let's shout out our educators. Awesome. So before we begin our pitches, we wanted to introduce you to our panelists today. We have some amazing individuals in the room. And what we're going to do is we are going to introduce them. And then I'm going to ask each judge to come off of mute and just share one or two things that you're excited for to hear about today. Sound good? All right. So our first panelist is Marianne K. Smith. Now, Marianne, excuse me, sorry, is an experienced leader at Google, working there since 2012 in something called UX research. Basically, her job is about making Google products that are easy and future ready and fun for people to use. So no confusing buttons, no frustrating experiences allowed. And Marianne is currently on baby bonding leave, but when she returns to the office, she's going to head up a team of researchers who are going to work on Google's AI infrastructure. That's like super important behind the scenes tech that makes everything at Google run pretty smoothly. And she helps these different tech teams figure out what's best and their design stuff to work great for users. So you can think of her as a coach who helps tech teams understand what people actually need and want. And Marianne is also really big on making things simpler and better for Google's own developers and always looking for ways to cut down on the number of different tools that they need to utilize. Getting rid of all that hassle and putting more fun into it. And yes, she loves people's passion projects. So Marianne also helps out with Google's quantum computer team, and she's using UX Smarts to help design software for powerful computers, making it easier for quantum physicists to make new breakthroughs. Pretty amazing, right? So Marianne, welcome. We are super impressed with your background. Very grateful to have you here today. We would love to hear, what are you excited to see during today's demo day?
Thank you so much for the introduction. I am very excited to learn about all the problems that the teams are going to solve for us and all the exciting ways that they come up with to solve those problems. Need finding is one thing that a UX is excels in. So this is the thickening of the uh, work that I'm doing. So yeah, that's what I'm really excited to learn more about.
Awesome, thank you. And we're really excited that you're here. All right, our next panelist is Peter McDonald, a returning volunteer who has assisted Project Invent teams for years in a multiple variety of ways through our milestone events. And Peter's a designer and design thinking educator who has spent his career solving real world problems across wildly different fields, from medical devices and surgical tools to vehicles, food systems, toys, and home solar energy systems. He spent many a year at IDEO, one of the world's most influential design firms, and where he helped develop the human-centered design methods now widely taught in schools and universities. Hey, Project Invent is looking at you. And his hands-on project and his work spans across organizations such as Stanford Healthcare, NASA, DARPA, Ford, Toyota, St. Jude's Research Hospital, which is giving him a rare ability to draw unexpected connections through all those domains. Peter holds a master's degree in engineering and product design from Stanford University and a bachelor's degree in industrial design from Syracuse University. So Peter, welcome. We are really excited to have you in the house again. You are always such a great member of our community. What are you excited to see today during our demo day?
Hi, thanks, Carrie. I'm excited. I'm always excited to hear like the insights that people have coming from the people they're learning from, and also like what leads to their great ideas, and of course the ideas to themselves. Love to hear about those.
So do we. Awesome. And now our next panelist is Jeff Smith, a senior engineering leader. And Jeff has also assisted us in a variety of volunteer opportunities this year. So we're really excited to have you as one of our judges for Demo Day today. And Jeff is a seasoned engineering leader with decades of experience driving new product development across globally recognized Fortune 500 companies, including Goodyear Tire, Harley-Davidson Motorson Company, and Johnson Controls. He's deeply committed to developing the next generation of talent, bringing a passion for teaching, mentoring, and inspiring early career engineers. Aligns so well here. And Jeff especially enjoys helping students discover their own enthusiasm for STEM and possibilities for these future careers. So, Jeff, welcome, and the mic is yours.
Well, thanks. I'm very excited to be here. I've participated in two of the mid-project review sessions where I got to see the inventions in process and give some input to the teams on other things to consider and how great they are. And I am just super excited to see a finished product out of our teams today. And I've been so impressed with how the teams have really focused on making people's lives in the community better. And I can't wait to hear the ideas that they have today about that.
Love it. Thank you, Jeff. And last but not least, we have Caleb Brigg, calling from Canada, apparently. And Caleb is a software engineer at Atlassian who spent over 5 years building, including time at Google and other companies. He's excited to volunteer with us at Project Invent. Yay, thank you. Sharing his experiences and passion for software engineering to inspire these future innovators, both in the room and outside of this demo day. And when Caleb's not coding, you can find him camping, playing his guitar, or riding a motorcycle. Caleb, the floor is yours.
Wrong button. Yeah, I'm really excited to learn about how everyone's had to adapt and grow through the journey to hit their end goal of trying to help their community. I feel like growth is like a very important thing for all of us to continue to do throughout our lives. So I'm just really excited to see what this has been like for everyone involved.
Awesome. Thank you, Caleb. So yes, teams, these panelists will be listening to your pitch presentations. After we play your pitch videos, you will then be able to interact with them in a Q&A session, which will last about 5 minutes. So they'll be asking you any clarifying questions that they have about your project, the growth that you've had, your community partner, and next steps. And then we'll move on to the next teams. And when that's all finished, we'll come back for our keynote. All right. Now, without further ado, we will have our first team, which is Team HydroTrack from Meadville Area Senior High School. And you can see right here. And we will begin by playing their video.
Hey, Carrie, we're having some audio issues. We can't really hear the video.
Oh, thank you, Alexis, for letting me know. You know what? Let me try one thing. Thank you all for your patience. Let's try this again. Can I get a thumbs up if it's better?
You all have enough prizes?
Are you okay? You call someone? Are you? You call someone? Is he okay? Is he okay?
I think you know why you're here today. What happened in the race when you passed out right before finishing?
At the time, I was clueless about what happened, but later when they rushed me to the hospital, I figured out that I was severely dehydrated.
Why were you so dehydrated that day?
I was so nervous that day, I just forgot to drink any fluids, and I just wish I had a way to track it. The idea of making this water bottle.
Well, it all started when I was back in high school in my innovations class. We had our athletic trainer come in and discuss all about what she usually sees. She said hydration is one of the most important factors in sports. That's when me and my peers decided to come up with an idea to make hydrating more competitive and easier.
How does a water bottle work?
Well, we created a smart water bottle with a removable screen that displays our online app with a leaderboard and a way to tell how much water you drink throughout the day. The water bottle also has LED lights around it, green meaning it's filled and red meaning it needs filled.
During our time working as a team, we use teamwork and creativity and also ambition.
We believe that HydroTrack is the next step needed to be taken forward for athletes worldwide to be better.
If we would win, we would use the money to improve the water bottle.
We are planning to improve the bottle by making it totally wireless, adding rechargeable batteries, and adding improved water detection.
And with that, we all want to say
Thank you.
All right, so that is part one of Meadville's presentation. And now we're going to learn a little bit more about their product.
Our quote that we got from our community partner, which is Mandy, our athletic director here at Meadville High School, is hydration is one of the most important things when it comes to sports. This is our 3D model of our design. It's definitely a rough design of our product, but as you can see, it has the removable screen, the green and red light on the bottle to determine if it needs refilled or not. You will have to create an account and you would put your height, weight, age, name, and gender. Then you would connect it to the water bottle, and when you start drinking, you will start at rank Muddy Puddle, and when you continue to drink water, your rank will increase. Then it will show who is first, second, and third, and will also show you what time you last drank water and your daily goals and progress. When each day is over, it will show you how much water you drank in total that day. It will also show your monthly goals at the end of each month and will break down each week by how much you drank in total and when you completed your goals. While there are products similar to ours on the market, they do not compare in quality when brought up against ours. For example, Water H has all these flashy lights, but has no screen, app, or water tracker like ours has. Ours is the only one on the market that has a screen on the water bottle and a competitive app with a leaderboard.
All right, so Meadville, nicely done. We are going to start your Q&A with our panelists, and we have about 5 minutes for this.
Very cool. I'd say I'm not really great about drinking my water, although I have some sitting right here by me. So this app would be beneficial for me. I was wondering during your design and innovation process, did you have any failures that you had to try again or learn from or go back and repeat some effort on how to make that product better?
Yes, we did, and so this was our first prototype of the lid. As you can see, I outlined it like where the sensor was going to be. First off, we were going to put the sensor inside of it, but I changed it, and there was the wires going to come out the holes. And then this was our second design, but the print failed and the holes were too small for where the sensor was going to be. And then our second design was our final and actually correct design.
Great example. Thank you.
So yeah, I'm curious to learn a bit more about how you gain the knowledge to not only create the hardware, but you have a leaderboard app that must, this I assume there's an Arduino connected to the water bottle to be able to upload information about the amount of water that you're drinking, and then like a leaderboard. So I'm curious to learn a bit about how like there's some significant math that would be involved to use a ultrasonic sensor and determine the level of water from like the static bottle and upload that information to like a server somewhere. I'm not sure how that all worked, but I'm curious to learn a bit more about what your foray into that was, what that was like, and what you learned from that.
Before going into it, we didn't really know a lot about like all this stuff, like starting this. We started it around what month would we say? Around January. And we kind of had to learn about Arduino and all of this stuff kind of from no prior knowledge. And Miss Hyatt helped us out a lot with that. And we kind of just really took priority into really learning it and, messing with it and working and, testing it. And we had some failures and then we had to redo it and all this stuff. Oh yeah, and a big failure or a big like kind of thing that took a long time for us was converting the measurements on the ultrasonic sensor to ounces because it doesn't show you that right away. So that took a lot of time for us to convert that, and it took a lot of, I think it took a close to a month, like 3 or 4 weeks, to really like get that science like perfectly down and like when the light turns to green or red.
About connecting the app to the water bottle, we haven't figured out exactly how to do that yet, but we're still working on it. So I think with some more learning, we'll be able to do that in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I really like how you started with the story. Like that was a really great hook for getting our attention and like us understanding the need really clearly. I wonder if you had a chance to like have somebody try this out and see if it actually helped them drink more. Or did one of you guys do that?
We did talk to a lot of our peers, and we had a lot of peers come in and kind of like look at it and like really like say like, do I need this? And there was some of them that said like it's a really cool idea, but I might not use this. And there was some of them that said like this could be a really helpful idea, and I would really use this. So we had to like change it around like a little bit just to make it so it's not just like for people that like really, really struggle with water, but for anybody, really.
Yeah, great. Because I know it's a problem for me. I forget to drink, and then I'm like, why do I feel so crappy later in the day? It's like, okay, nice.
I don't have another question, but I just wanted to make a comment that I think it's really cool in your app how you're using this positive peer pressure, the competition with your other friends to generate positive, healthy results, right? So like you want to keep up with your friends and buddies and show them that you can be hydrated. That's a great way to use accountability or positive peer pressure to enact some change. So nice work there.
Thank you.
We have about 1 more minute for this Q&A, so if there are any final questions or comments from our panelists.
My question is really about gamification. What made you guys think about that? Is that something that you learned that your peers or yourselves are really feeling?
So I was just brainstorming and I thought it would be a really cool idea to just have a leaderboard. It's kind of like there's leaderboards on other apps, but we're doing it with a water bottle. And a problem that we ran into is that not everybody weighs the same, so we can't really do it based off the leaderboard based off fluid ounces. So we were gonna make a point system based off of your weight for how much you drink.
Another thing we did was we kind of like brainstormed a lot before we really got into this project. And we had a lot of ideas throughout all of us. All these sticky notes are from all of us. And I think there was about 2 or 3 about leaderboards. There was some about like getting rewards. There was some about like pushing yourself and a lot of different things. And that helped us ultimately come to the idea of making the leaderboard.
Love it. Love that you collected all that and that you kept that, because the yes and situation definitely shines. Thank you. I think this was a great project.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Meadville High School. Excellent job. We are going to move on to our next team. And I love how people are utilizing the chat. Continue to do so. So our next team is from Narbonne Senior High, and it is Team Title Titans.
My name is Natalie, and our group project name is the Title Titans. Our community partner is Alta Sea. Why marine life is important. Global blue economy value is about $2.5 trillion per year, similar to the world's 7th largest national economy. The blue economy is projected to double in size by 2030 compared to 2010 levels, driven by sustainable ocean sectors. Healthy marine ecosystems could provide up to 6 times more food from the sea if managed well, expanding food security. Around 600 million people depend indirectly on fisheries and aquaculture for jobs and income, showing how the ocean life supports livelihoods. Nearly 3 billion people rely on fish as a major source of protein, linking marine life directly to global nutrition. These are just a few of the sources we use to fact-check why marine life is important. Aiming to protect marine life, California experiences a high frequency of oil spills, with reports indicating an average of more than 70 oil spills per month, totaling over 800 to 900 polluting land, ports, harbors, and streams. In 2020, over 3,000 hazardous material reports included petroleum releases These range from to land or water. These range from small frequent incidents to larger damaging pipeline ruptures.
Aiming to protect
marine life, California.
All right, it appears there's a little bit of double audio going on with this presentation. So what we're gonna do right here, we're gonna keep those closed captionings on, but I'm just going to mute it because the text is matching what they're saying. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Awesome, thanks.
On the oil spills. And here are some sources that provide the oil spill platforms and spills information.
After thoroughly thinking on how we can address this issue, we found an easier way to address this. We'll be making the Vira Wave Defense. It'll essentially be a microcontroller that will have motor sensors attached to the bottom in the water and an oil sensor that will be reading any oil spikes. Essentially, this will be created that if there's an oil spill nearby, it will alert it and start by creating vibrations underwater, pushing the marine life away. This prevents all the marine life from getting hurt and saving thousands of dollars and letting the people know where the oil spill is and how fast it's moving. Our primary sensor that we're going to be using is the Figaro TGS2620 gas sensor. So this is going to be used for detecting organic solvent vapors, which connects back to the oil spills. So it's very affordable and very efficient. It goes for $14.70 on eBay or $25 already pre-assembled. The only difficult thing about this is that there's not really any supply for in stores, so most of it has to be ordered online. But this is the most efficient and budget friendly. Bringing it all together for the prototype essentials, we will need the breadboard and the jumper wire kit. So the standard one is between $10 to $15. We need resistors. We need very few ones for the LEDs and the sensors, but it usually goes to $5 to $8. So the LEDs are gonna be able to visually show when the oil spill is there, and then the sensors we just need it so they don't get burned out. And for the prototype, we will use a small acrylic tank. We could usually use buckets. It's not really necessary, so it's also very affordable for $15 to $25. Thank you so much for your time.
We are the Tidal Titans.
And have a good evening.
Great. Thanks, Tidal Titans. And perfect. Welcome, welcome. Very cool project. And I'm going to mute myself and let you all take it away.
I love this project, and I've seen some pretty horrific oil spills in my lifetime that really damage a lot of marine life and are terrible for the planet. So thanks for taking it on. It's a great topic. My question is, what sort of testing did you do on your design system to see that it's working, both in terms of sensing the oil and vibrating to move the wildlife away?
So at first, we did order the supplies, but they did not get here on time. So that was like our main obstacle. So eventually everything was through just like hypotheses that we can make. So we researched the main marine life that resides within that area here in San Pedro. And this initially, we thought it would be more like a lot of coding, but it became more like a biology and anatomy class that we have to look actually into the fishes. And so we see the fish and how they receive those vibrations through the water. We also had to research how fast it travels, and it was just a mix of a lot of subjects. And through that, it was more this hypothesis that we can make. So if fish A would be in this area 15 meters away from the motor, how much power to the motor would it need? And a lot of what ifs involved. We couldn't do any actual testing, but the code, we had to think about how it would send it to like a database for the respondents to know, oh, there's an oil spill in 2 kilometers away from the shore. And rather than finding out 1 hour after it happens, faster response times will prevent the fish from, being away from their ecosystem. Yeah.
Thank you.
What was one thing that you learned about the fish that surprised you?
Mostly, personally, it's kind of a small anecdote, but when I was little, I would own fishes and I would always tap on the glass tanks, and those vibrations would push them away. So that was like the main inspiration. After that, we learned that if we constantly have too much power from the motors into the fish, we could do more harm to them than rather protect them, because those nerves that they have to receive the vibrations, if they get constantly used to that much power, they will become immune to responding to the actual danger. So it has to be very mediated.
That's pretty exciting. I did not think about that at all. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
You clearly did a lot of research. I really appreciate the amount of data that you provided. I'm curious about how you went about gathering all of this information. Did you reach out to any like marine biologists? Were you just perusing the internet and reading like papers? Just curious to learn a bit more about that.
So our main partner is Alta Sea, and that kind of gave us that advantage already. And they would just tell us that just how dirty the environment around the fish really is, and that's what brought us to the attention. We didn't have any expert advisor on it, so it was a lot like divide and conquer. We do have some other members that are not present. So, for example, if I looked more into the coding part, then Natalie here would look more into the biology of the fish. And then after that, all our findings, we would combine them and just look for the most ideal way to deal with it.
Yeah, very cool. Very good work. Yeah, thank you.
This is a really interesting idea to me, because I'm aware of like smart buoy companies that have been starting up. There's one in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and there's my cousin's actually starting one in Maine. But this is like sort of the opposite of gathering data. This is like being active. Were you aware of any other like companies or devices that are doing something active besides just gathering data?
We try to see if through the process of making this, we obviously wanted to be original. We didn't want to create something that was already made. Honestly, what you just told me is something that none of us were aware about. We did try to, like Google, like, oh, is there something in this kind that protects the fish? And we didn't find anything directly to it. So this is fairly new to us.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because there's also been a lot of research around keeping sharks away. So I wonder if there's anything you could learn from the things that they've done with that. Um, so if you do get the parts and you're able to build something to try, what do you think your next step would be? Next steps?
Most of it is just we already have our mindset to it. Trial and error. First, we want to see the threshold that we would have to put for the oil. So we would have to go more on site, travel to on site, see what how much oil is actually in the water, and then how we could code it to read the threshold and see if there's a spike above that to send the vibrations to the motors or directly to a computer from wherever it's stationed at.
Okay, nice, thanks.
Thank you.
We have about 1 more minute. Any final questions or thoughts from our panelists? All right. Excellent job, Title Titans. Really cool work. Excited to see where this goes and grows. So thank you. We are going to move on to our next team, also from Narbonne Senior High, and this is Team Harvest Harmony.
I'm Mara, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself and Juliana. And this is Erica Rigo. We are Harvest Harmony, and we're here to talk about our nitrate sensor that we have done for our community partner. First, I'd like to introduce how it was built. In February of this year, we were introduced to Project Invent and all possible community partners. In March of this year, we began brainstorming between Narbonne High School's Garden and AltC to see who we would help. Also in March of this year, we concluded to help the Narbonne Garden by detecting nitrate and nitrate levels in the soil and reporting it back to our overseer, Ms. Fuentes, who is also the equal equity leader and the environmental science teacher. And in April of this year, we began our prototype construction, and we used our Arduino, microcontroller, and other Arduino components. And to do this, a VEX line strip was used to get the input of the nitrite and nitrate levels in the soil.
Our community partner, the Narbonne High School Garden, has dealt with a decline of care over the past decade, and this lack of proper care in the garden has caused this facility to not be used by students. This is how our prototype works. When the VEX line strip is sensing infrared light, or in this case color, the LED will get brighter, and this works inversely as if the line strip is exposed to more color, then the LED will get darker. In practice, the VEX line strip would be replaced with a color sensor that we couldn't get, which would detect the actual color of a nitrate-nitrite test strip.
Next, I'd like to introduce the process. As a collective group, we brainstormed solutions to accurately identifying the contents of nitrate and nitrite present in the garden beds of Narbonne. Due to no prior mechanism of measuring the amount of nitrate or nitrite in the garden, AP Environmental Science students and coordinator of Eco Equity Club, Ms. Fuentes, had no method of identifying causes of why plants were thriving and why there was an excess presence of pests. In order to solve these persistent issues of nitrate levels in the garden, our team surveyed Ms. Fuentes and students such as Helen Ho, who is an AP Environmental Science student, who provided testimony for root causes of nitrate deficiency or overload. Together, we brainstormed a solution to detect nitrate using color strips and use of the photoresistor. Next, I'd like to talk about the cost of the prototype. The items were cost efficient, and we only bought what was necessary and what we couldn't have in school. First, I'd like to talk about what we were donated for this project. We got VEX line strip from the Robotics Club, cups from the cafeteria, a cheesecloth from the Eco Equity Club, and a strainer also from the Eco Equity Club in order to test the actual nitrate and nitrite. We bought a nitrate and nitrite nitrogen test strip for $19.99, which we used to test soil. Next, we bought a power supply module, which cost $14 and included everything, including a breadboard, jumper wires, in order to power our prototype. I'm going to skip the light color sensor before I explain it. So after that, we got the Uno R3 board, which was $7.99, and that is our Arduino, which was the base model of our entire prototype and what powered our LED sensors. And lastly, what we did not receive was the light color sensor, which was lost. However, if we were to have gotten it, it would have made the process different as we used the photoresistor instead of the sensor. Because the photoresistor reads dark from light, and the color sensor reads color of the strip. That is what made the difference. The finished product. The finished product is a simple yet functional portable soil testing device that gives quick feedback on nitrate and nitrite nitrogen levels using color-based detection. By combining test strips with a light sensor system, the device translates subtle color changes into measurable data that can be easily interpreted by students or volunteers. Instead of relying on guesswork, students can place soil sample water onto a test strip and place it onto a device and receive an immediate indication of nutrient levels. This makes it practical for everyday use in the school garden, allowing consistent monitoring. Understanding nitrate and nitrite levels is important because they directly affect plant growth and soil health. Nitrates are a key form of nitrogen that plants absorb to build proteins and grow. but too much can lead to excessive leaf growth and weak roots, while too little can cause stunted growth and yellowing leaves. Nitrites, on the other hand, are part of a nitrogen cycle and can indicate how efficiently soil bacteria are converting nutrients. By measuring both, the device helps students identifying imbalances in the soil, guiding better decisions about fertilizing and watering. This leads to healthier plants and a more sustainable approach to maintaining the garden's ecosystem.
Great. I agree, Caleb. Learning lots and lots today. All right, so it's time for the Q&A for this team. We have about 5 minutes, and I'll open the floor to everyone.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious how you landed on this approach. It's very interesting to me that you had to pivot your entire approach based on a module and go a different direction. I think we can all kind of relate to that. But I'm curious about how you landed on this idea for your prototype, where you learned about how these components will work to be able to not just build it, but theoretically in your head figure out that this could be a viable solution.
So, just to be sure, are you asking about how we landed to using a photoresistor instead of the module we were planning to use?
Yes, but I think like that would be a part of the puzzle. I'm curious to understand more of the sense of like, I work in software. I wouldn't have the wherewithal to say like, oh, I should get these components to be able to get these readings from soil. So I'm curious how you landed on this as an approach.
So the module we were planning to use and the photoresistor, they were both similar in how they use their input. And I'm a little more versed with Arduino kits. I've done this a bit before. So I kind of landed to using photoresistors, which I've used before and they were quite similar.
Yeah, no, that's fair. To kind of drill a little bit deeper, I'm just curious about like the core crux of the idea is that you can use these, as you called them, I think, VEX strips, to be able to get nitrate readings from the soil. I'm just curious how you discovered that. Like, did someone you partner with kind of explain this to you, and you were able to like tease that out, or did you do like some deep research on your own to kind of make that discovery? I'm curious, like, how did you discover that this was a viable approach to be able to get these readings in the first place?
Oh, yeah. A lot of it was personal research with our environmental science teacher. I personally have never taken an environmental science class, so I was doing a lot of research on my own, trying to figure out what exactly nitrate was, because originally our idea had too many components when we did our initial midway pitch. So the engineer suggested that we stick to nitrate, which is like the nitrogen levels in the soil. So the VEX strip testing came from Ms. Fuentes, who is our environmental science teacher. She told us it could read it better, read the nitrate levels better, and that's what drove our prototype to becoming what it is.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for the insight.
I think this is really cool because I try and grow hot peppers in a little garden every year, and some years they grow great, and other years they grow terrible. And I don't know why. It's probably something to do with the soil. So your invention could really help me out to grow some really good hot peppers. My question is, you talked a little bit about the hurdle that you had with not getting the right sensor. What other struggles or challenges did you face getting your prototype together and functioning?
I believe a lot of our struggle came from the time limitations we had. We, in all honesty, we began working on it about 2 weeks ago, working on the final prototype and nailing it down. And it took a lot of willpower and also a lack of supplies. So that's what our biggest struggle was, but it was also trying to figure out the components that would be useful to replace the color sensor and other things that we could have used.
And do you know if anyone has an invention similar to this right now commercially?
I am not sure.
Okay, nice job. Very cool.
Well, it sounds like you guys experience crunch time. Well done. Tell me, what was one thing that made you guys frustrated in the last 2 weeks throughout this crunch time period?
We all have very different schedules. I'm a senior, she's a junior, and he's a freshman. So our time limitations are very different. I work and she has a lot of college classes, and he's a freshman. I'm not quite sure about his own schedule, but it's hard to find time to work together when we have so much things to do separately.
That sounds very much what I experienced at work. Whenever there's a group project, there's always a battle for time. So welcome to real life, I guess.
So who do you think the customers for this would be?
I believe gardeners, people who want to like help benefit the ecosystem, because doing research, it shows that high nitrate levels and low nitrate levels, they do a lot of damage on the ecosystem, and not only just our plants, but also the overall like plant health.
I can vouch for that you found a good need, because I actually did some work for a big gardening company about 15 years ago, and this was one of the areas we suggested they focus on. So totally endorse the idea, and I'm really happy to see you found a technical solution. So what do you think your next step would be?
I think our next step would be to really test it in the garden, see how it does on different soil beds, because you can test one, but it might not be the same as the other soil bed that you have.
Right.
Awesome. Well, very interesting project. It seems like you would have a lot of people going forward who'd be interested to see this, go to market. So don't let this be your last piece of this project, but excellent job. Awesome. So thank you so much. So we're going to move on to our final team. And this team is also from Narbonne. And they are Team Garden Project.
My name is Sophia.
My name is Maria,
and this is a garden project.
So to begin with, a problem for my garden is that many plants die faster and get dry due to the lack of not being watered in time. This causes our plants to be unhealthy and may die faster because of overwatering or not watering at all.
Our solution is a soil moisture indicator. Me and my partner had came up with a solution named Soil Moisture Indicator. This solution helps prevent overwatering and underwatering of plants.
So from the image shown, that's the main part of the indicator. That's what shows us if it's going to need more water or no water. What is a soil moisture indicator? A soil moisture indicator is a tool that shows how much water is in the soil. This helps people know if the soil may be too dry or too wet. With this indicator, it gets the perfect amount of water for our plants. It senses the moisture level in the soil with a sign that gives us a signal whether the plant needs water or not.
How does the soil moisture indicator work? Our soil moisture indicator works by sending a small electrical signal through the soil and the small screen using a soil indicator that has two probes. The sensor measures the moisture in the soil and lets us know when the soil is dry or wet.
That image shows the little screen that we will be using that will tell us if it has enough water or it doesn't have water. What we use for this invention, we obviously need a soil and a plant.
You need a screen board. a buzzer module, a resistor, signal red and green light, a breadboard jumping wires, and a soil moisture detect sensor. That's all for our presentation. Thank you so much.
All right. Last but not least, our team. Here's your Q&A.
Okay, so how many times did you guys overwatered, underwatered plants? Because I have done it constantly and I am growing plants for at least 20 years. And I'm still struggling to understand when and how much water do I need to give them. So this invention got me very excited. Tell me one thing that you guys struggled with throughout the process when you had an idea about, but it didn't quite work out, if you had any situation like this.
Yeah, a problem we had with the invention was kind of getting the right codes for the sensors to work and give us a signal from when it had enough water and it didn't have enough water. We kind of struggled with getting the right codes in the Arduino.
And when I saw that you have a lot of moving parts in the last picture of your presentation, and one of them was a very colorful thing. What was that? It had wires. Maybe Caleb knows because he's an engineer, but
The jump something, the jump wires. Yeah, those we use them to connect the Arduino to the sensor that gave us the signal.
I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Well, between the nitrate sensing and the water sensor, my peppers are going to look phenomenal this year. So can you guys get this product into commerce quickly? Because I'd appreciate that. Really cool invention. My question is, did you research other inventions out there that might have been similar, and what did you learn from them? And just fill me in on what sort of research you did on competitive product.
Well, we did a lot of research to kind of learn about different plants and how much water each plant may need to kind of get an idea of how to make it work and what coding we had to use. And we did learn a lot about the soil and how the soil really like it does affect if you overwater or underwater a plant. And it really did help us understand how to make it really work. We struggle a lot because we didn't have enough time to test it too many times. And we're still kind of working on getting some lights and some screens to work. But we learned a lot about the watering of plants and how to get the sensor to work well.
All right, very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious, maybe I missed this. How does it display that it's enough water or too much water, or yeah. And can you adjust that for different plants, or different plants need different amounts of moisture?
So they'll have some LED lights and there'll be a red or green one. The red one will turn on if it's gonna need more water, and then the green one, it's at a perfect place of water, and the little screen is what shows it. The screen in the picture shown, that's what will show if it's good or not at all.
Okay, I've tried to find a product like this myself along Jeff's lines of his struggle, and I haven't been able to find anything that works well. So please continue on this.
I'm curious if you can share some examples of some things that maybe didn't go so well in creating this and getting the final product. There's always a struggle. Something always goes wrong. I know a lot of the teams, they couldn't get their components and had to pivot. So I'm curious if you can share something similar that might have happened to you.
Yeah, a really hard struggle we had was all the wiring. We had a lot of wires to connect with the Arduino and the screen and the sensors and all of that. So we had a lot of struggle with that and also getting the codes working. It was a lot of hours of searching codes and change them for like the things that we needed. So I feel like that was a lot of a struggle. Like the codings is what like the difficult part of it.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I remember my first breadboard and trying to get the code on the Arduino. It was a painful process to say the least.
Yes.
We have about 1 more minute for any final questions or comments for this team.
I guess I can do another one. I'm curious if at any point you maybe had like if the idea started smaller, if it started bigger, if you changed the direction of what your product was from, when you started on it to where you are today. Things always evolve as we run into new things. So I'm curious if your scope changed in any way.
Not really. Ever since we went to the garden and we saw how you could fix the plants, the first thing we noticed was the plants maybe being too dry or the dirt looking too dry. It just didn't look moist. So from there we got the idea and started researching, and we stuck to that the whole time. And then until a few weeks ago, we got the stuff and started working on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Did you have any expert gardeners that you like got input from?
Yes, we asked the gardener from the school.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yes, building community, really digging into our own community, no pun intended with the soil references. But I just want to shout all of our teams out because let's give everybody a round of applause. We had 4 amazing teams today. I think each with a really unique product. We love how you got to see how you can interact with your community to really think about these real world inventions that you can create. Very diverse. Obviously, there's a need for them, even in just this small room. So, excellent job. And before we introduce our keynote and have our panelists move into the breakout room for deliberation for awards, I'm just so inspired by everybody who's on this call. So if you feel comfortable in turning on your cameras, a Project Invent, part of our community, what's about to happen, we're going to do our group photo because we are just so appreciative of the students, the educators, the community partners, our volunteers, our fellows, everybody who makes this program happen. So I'll do a quick countdown, and if you feel comfortable, turn on your camera. We're gonna be a little cheesy. Sound good? And celebrate our first virtual demo day. All right, yeah, so Narbonne, if you want to come closer, get in there, all 3 of our teams.
Yes, we'll come closer. We'll come closer.
Awesome. Don't be shy. It's a virtual space. We'll all fit. All right, and we'll take a couple of them. All right, so big smiles. Jerome's ready. Oh yeah, Jerome always with the emojis with this. The innovation, I love it. Thumbs up from Meadville, yes. All right, I'm gonna do a countdown. Everybody in? Ready? In 3, 2. Oh, perfect, Narbonne. Zooming out. Excellent. This is like a class photo. All right, 3, 2, 1. Thanks for humoring me, you all. We will send you a copy of that. Now we are going to open up our breakout room for our panelists to go in and deliberate on those 2 awards that will be given out. And again, we just want to thank our teams because you have met with your community partners, You've designed, you've iterated, you've reiterated, you've come across challenges and are overcoming them, have overcome them, and are going to continue to work on your projects. And we're just really inspired by you all, and we know that you are the future change makers. So thank you for that. All right, so our judges, we're ready to go. We'll see you in a little bit. And then everybody else, we have our keynote speaker, and this is really exciting because as the judges are deliberating, we have someone in the room who is going to talk a little bit about their experience, innovation. I won't give it away too much, but I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Marielle van Tattenhof. And she has a broad experience in project management, marketing, program management, sales, and business development. She's worked for a number of companies, big and small, in a variety of industries. She started her career at Fisher-Price Toys and then joined Philips after that. And for Philips, she moved to Silicon Valley. And then after leaving Philips, she worked for a number of startups and then joined Amazon in 2017. Outside work, her hobbies are reading, cooking, hiking, traveling, and exploring different countries and places. And Marielle has been a part of our Project Invent community for a few years now. She's participated in different volunteer opportunities, so we're really excited and grateful for you to be here, and I will let you take it away.
Thank you. And are you gonna share the slides for me, Carrie?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's so exciting to be here and to see these presentations with all the cool, innovative ideas and concepts. So thank you very much. I have been for many years a creator, an inventor, a builder. So I'm very excited to share some of my experiences of being a builder and some of my key principles and work experiences. So if you can go to my next slide, Carrie. So yeah, I will give a little bit background. Carrie already did it, but very brief. I was born in the Netherlands, as you can probably hear from my funny accent. I have a degree in business and economics. I work in Amazon since 2017, and I've also founded my own company with a co-founder in February 2024 called SwipHub. So, and more on these experiences later. So if you can go to the next slide. So a little bit background on my career, touch a little bit more on what Carrie already explained. When I finished and graduated, I was fortunate enough to start working at Fisher-Price. Fisher-Price was at that point the leading toy manufacturer in the world. I worked in the European headquarters, various positions, and at that time, toys, there was not a lot of intelligence, there was not a lot of electronics, and definitely no AI, so it was pretty much plastics and plush. So after Mattel Fisher-Price merged, I was approached by Philips. They had a little startup in their research lab that was working on an electronic organizer for girls 9 to 12. So a little bit more tech, but again, I have no tech background. So then they asked me to move to California to set up the sales and the marketing for that girls product. However, after 3 months, the project got cancelled, and I was lucky enough that I was with a group that was doing a adult version of an electronic organizer, basically the product that today you guys all use as a smartphone. And I started working on the Philips Nino. Philips Nino became the #1 electronic organizer for adults. But it was hard because I was now in the heart of Silicon Valley with a business marketing degree, and here I'm in the tech world, and I had no tech background, so it was a lot of learning on the job. I was in meetings and people were talking about modems and about memory and about operating system chips, and not the chips that I would normally eat, but the chips that basically drive your products. So one of the things that I learned in that situation was ask questions. I've learned there's no dumb question. Probably if you have a question, you're in a room, there's other people that have similar questions. So ask a lot of questions because that's the way you can really learn. So then I left Philips. I was in Silicon Valley, and I figured I have to do the startup world. So I joined a number of startups. The first one was Synaptics. I was there for 7 years. Company had 30 people when I started. Had never heard of marketing. Didn't even know what marketing was. And I was the director of marketing. Did a couple of more startups after that. And then in 2017, I was introduced. I had no intention to go and join the biggest company in the world. I was a startup person. I love being like builder, creator, and I didn't think a big company would allow me. But I was talking to the team that had started Alexa. Alexa had just turned 2. And when I talked to them, I realized that Amazon actually was a big startup and that they were running these new projects as a startup. So against all my expectations, I joined Amazon in 2017. Worked for Alexa. Then in 2020, during COVID, I changed to the Amazon Kids team. Worked on the Kids Echo and Fire TV product and Kids Plus experiences. And then in 2024, after a 3-month sabbatical, I joined my current role in the global operations team. So going to the next slide. So in my career, I have been fortunate to work on a lot of innovative products, from launching new toys in Fisher-Price to work in Philips on the first electronic organizer, touch and other sensors, and then in Amazon on Alexa and kids products. And from my experiences, and definitely my 9 years in Amazon, I have kind of these key principles that guide me when I am working on these innovations, and try to make sure that if I build a new product or if I build a new program or business, how do I make sure that I have the biggest chance to be successful? So the first one is be customer obsessed. Start with the customer and work backwards. This is something that definitely in Amazon is a key principle that throughout all the teams and everything we do is what we stick to. And what we use is, I think it's pretty famous. It's the 6-pager, but if you develop a product in Amazon, you write a PR FAQ, a press release, and frequently asked questions. You write the press release before you've even started the product development, as if you are announcing the product. What is the customer problem you're trying to solve? Or what is the new innovation that you want to make sure that customers can have? And by doing that, before you start spending engineering resources, other resources, money, it really forces you to think through, why are we doing this? What is the benefit for our customer? Is there a problem we're solving? Why are we doing it now? Are other people already doing it? So working backwards from the customer, very, very fundamental in any innovative product or program or business I've worked on. The second one is be passionate and persistent. And I was happy to see these presentations today with all the teams looking in their communities, what are some problems we can solve, or what are some new ideas that customers could benefit from, and how passionate the teams were in presenting it today. Because you have to really have passion, because you will get a lot of pushback from people along the way. So if you're not persistent, if you're not passionate, the chances that there will be people that are not so passionate and have reasons to shut it down are always there. So believe in your ideas. And then be curious. I think if you're curious, it basically ingrains innovation, and it helps you to just look at new things, have an open mind. And with that comes the fourth one is think big. Think big and out of the box. Create that really big, bold vision. And then you can start working back. What are the steps and what is the first product that I can start introducing? And the last one, which I think is also super important, don't be afraid to fail. I believe, and that's also something that we are encouraged very much in Amazon, if you're not failing, you're probably not trying hard enough. You're not basically pushing the bar and try to be really better. And a lot of times people see failure as bad. Failing is not bad. Failing, if you learn from it, is okay. if you learn from those mistakes, it will make you better going forward. And I love that quote that I put in the bottom of this slide, and that I always use when I do presentations to students or for projects like this. I think it's really keep inventing. And if people think that the idea is crazy, just keep going and be curious and keep going. So with that, I want to go to the next slide and want to talk a little bit about innovation in Amazon. I have two concrete examples of how I have applied those principles and my experiences. The one is in my current role in Amazon, where I joined to explore if we could create a whole new business around Amazon special devices. And the second one is my own company that I started working on around 22 and that we launched as a company in 2024. So if we can go to the next slide. So, oh, this is an old version. Carrie, could you see if you can pull up the latest version, or should I pull it up?
Pull that up really quickly.
Yeah, because I made some changes to the slides. And these are the meat of the presentation, so I want to make sure we share the real slides. If not, I can share too.
Right here?
Yes, that's the one. Updated with more products.
Yes,
So,
love it.
So this is an example where in 2024, my current boss, after I was on a sabbatical for 3 months, approached me. His team in the global operations and manufacturing world had developed a new printing capability. And in Amazon, generally, if you develop a new product, whether it's a Kindle, a tablet, or an Echo, from start to launching the product, it will take 12 to 18 months. Now, with this new printing capability, we could take existing products like Echoes and tablets and Kindles, and we could print special edition devices that we could do closer to the customer, and we could do it in smaller runs without having the 12 to 18 months long development cycles. So, but they are a global ops manufacturing team, so they're not necessarily business people. So they had this capability, but they didn't really know what are we going to do with it. So they didn't know how to approach the business lines, how to basically approach the customers. So my boss asked me, hey, what do you think? And I had looked at the capability and I saw definitely opportunities. So I told him, but probably what I'm going to propose if we turn this into a business will not fit the normal Amazon business processes and the way we normally work. A big company like Amazon, it's like, well, this is how we do things. So he said, that's fine, just come up with a proposal. So I started working backwards from the customer and started thinking, if we do these special devices, it cannot just be another color. But people would get really excited if you look at having your sports team or having a music artist or having a movie-related device that you're really passionate. It's the fandom, it's the emotional tie to a product. So my idea was, let's not do big volume, but let's make these very special. Let's have them higher priced for a limited amount of time and only limited amount of volume. And we make it really special. But this was completely opposite how normally Amazon devices work. And so I wrote my first paper and I created the goals and I created my vision of this is what I want to do. I went to my boss's staff meeting to present it. And they looked at me and they said, oh, you're so cute, but this is never going to work. We cannot sell at a premium. We have to discount and we have to these long design cycles, a lot of pushback. However, my leader in the global org said, no, I think there's something here. So let's go and present this to our highest level leadership in the company. So I presented a strategy that was starting with a couple of experiments to test different marketing and channel approaches and to see what was there. Would customers pay for this? So basically, we did 4 experiments. The first one is the product that you see here on the top left. It was a collaboration with Amazon Music. This art that you see here is the album art from country artist Casey Musgraves. And she had a concert in Seattle around that time. So this product, we only built 500 pieces. We offered it exclusively to people that were going to the concert and the top people that were streaming her music on Amazon Music. And we sold out within 2 months. So then we launched the product that is also here. You see here the San Francisco 49ers. We had never launched multiple versions of a product on Amazon.com. So when our Echo leader told me, I want to do the NFL, I told him, look, you're crazy. That needs more time. That's probably next year. He's like, no, let's do it. So I went to the sales and marketing teams and they said, we cannot sell this for a premium. You will never sell anything. This is October, November, December, where we have all of our discount pricing for our products. And I said, nope, we're not discounting it. We're selling it at $59.99. The normal Echo that you see there at some point would sell at $18 or $20. Team said we will never be able to do this. Well, we launched in October, which is the high discount season, and we sold 13,000 units, which doesn't seem high, but it's high if you look at their prices. And our leadership really supported me. They thought it was great. And then I did 2 other projects, which is the Wicked one in the corner and the NBA basketball. And those were projects with Amazon advertising teams where we didn't sell them, but they were part of a deal that they did, and they were giving them away as Christmas presents to executives, to press, and to other leaders. So we did these projects, and we went back to our leadership, and our leadership really saw the value because they said, look, it's customer obsessed. We're giving customers devices that have more choices of design, things that people are very excited about. So they supported it, and I had a plan of what we could do in 2025, so we expanded into more projects. We did a tablet with Stitch, which again, we sold out of our whole forecast around Stitch Day in 2025. Stitch Day is 6/25 because that's the experiment called Stitch. We did Toy Story, we did Peppa Pig, and then the first Kindle project was very unique as well because we had a Kindle and the Amazon series, The Summer I Turned Pretty, had launched that year and it was very popular. So the Kindle team said, can we do a special edition with the Kindle, with the special printed cover and the 3 books as a bundle? So very unique. We had never done anything like this. So it's now 2026. In 2026, we launched NBA teams, all 30 teams with the Echo Dots. And we launched recently Project Hail Mary. On Project Hail Mary, we did the Echo Dot Pop, and we went, the Amazon MGM Studios came to me and they said, hey, we have a commercial with Ryan Gosling. Do you think you can send the device that we used during the commercial? And I said, okay, I have 2 weeks. So we managed to ship 2 of the devices that you see here. And the idea was that Ryan would just ask the Echo 2 questions. This was around Alexa, using Alexa on the Echo. And during the commercial, he was so excited about the product, about the conversation he could have with Alexa. And he had a 10-minute unscripted conversation with Alexa. And in the end, he kissed the device and he took it to Jimmy Fallon. So with that, we have now proven that you can build a new business. But to be honest, it's been 2 years of hard work. Here you only see the results. But if I had not believed in these products very passionately, if I had not believed in a new business model and consistently pushed the teams and push people in Amazon to basically change the mindset, I had to say a lot of times when people would say, this is not how we do this in Amazon. And I would say, why not? They would say, but this is how we need to do it. And I would say, why? Because people are stuck in their ways, right? So really, innovation requires thinking big, thinking out of the box. And a lot of times it's doing things differently than we're used to and getting people out of those comfort zones. So that's my first example of using my principles of working backwards from the customer and passion and be curious and basically breaking through a lot of existing walls that as an innovator and creator, you will unfortunately run into. And persistency is really, really important. My second project is on the next slide, is really my own pet project. It's basically a company I founded with a friend in 2024. The company is called TripHub. It's a mobile app where people can plan, collaborate, and organize all the trips in one convenient way. And if you go to the next slide, so basically, I've always had a passion for travel. And years ago, I even at one point was thinking about starting a travel agency for specialized trips. But at that time, travel agency was actually disappearing, and it was really hard to come up with a viable business model. Now, during COVID, one of my Amazon coworkers and we started doing Friday afternoon kind of sessions where we were talking about work and we're talking about ideas. And at some point, we realized that both of us were planning a lot of trips. We were planning a lot of travel, and we were the ones in the group. There's always people that plan, and there's people that come along on a trip. So we realized that we both had the same kind of pain points, and that there was not a great way of collaborating and having one place where you have emails, you have text messages, and you have an app for an hotel, and you have an app for a restaurant, and you never can find everything. So we started at that point, working back from the customer, which in that point, we were one of the customers. We said, what are the key pain points? And then what are the things that we can do to resolve this? So it literally started with whiteboarding and handwritten paper notes about the pain points and how we potentially could solve those. From the whiteboarding, we turned it into a PowerPoint. And then we created what I think is a very useful tool for innovators and builders, what we call in Amazon a stack rank. And a stack rank is a list of features that leads to your minimum lovable product, your MLP. And you start with the very top feature that you need. So for a mobile app, you need to be able to support iOS and Android. If you cannot do that, then you don't have a product. Your second feature becomes, okay, you have to be able for a user to create an account, because they will have to download the app and create an account. So we created that stack rank, and you always say, why is this feature not higher, lower than the rest? And then you create, and you come to a point where you say, this is where I cut the line. This should be good enough for us to go to market. So in parallel, we had researched names. We went to a trademark lawyer. We trademarked our TripHub name, which is now our own registered trademark. And we also founded the company with the Secretary of State in California. So then we found a software developer, because we're not coders. My friend is more a program manager. I'm product and business and marketing. So we said, somebody needs to build this for us. So I went to somebody that I knew from my past that had a company that was building apps and websites, and I did the pitch. And they were super excited. And so in March 2024, we launched an alpha version of what you see here on the screen, where you can have trips, you can collaborate. It's a little bit like Pinterest meets TripIt. And then you have an itinerary when you are on the road. We launched it to friends and family in 2024 in March. And then in July, we figured it's good enough for a beta to launch in the Google and the Apple app stores. And in 2025, we added our first AI implementation. And now we're increasing our user base very, very organically. And it's still very early days, but super excited to see it come from whiteboarding on a Friday afternoon to a product that now is available in the app stores. And with that, I want to kind of go to the next slides before we open it up to questions. But in summary, to me, what is key from all these learnings and what I've learned through my career and all working on all these products and all these companies is believe in yourself. Each one of you can be anything you can, anything you want to be and anything you want to do. A couple of years ago, I had a daughter of a friend of mine, and she was in second year of her university, and she didn't like what she was doing, and she was kind of lost. And she called me, and she's like, "Oh, Mariel, I'm panicked because I need to make the decision for the rest of my life what I'm going to do." And I'm like, "No, you don't. you don't make the decisions. A career is a journey that zigzag. It's not a linear line. You can reinvent yourself and start doing things anytime you want. Really what you're learning is a foundation. And then I keep highlighting it, be passionate and be persistent. It's okay to fail. Failure is okay as long as you learn from it, as long as you fail fast, and as long as you just keep trying. And then finally, find mentors. I have been fortunate enough through my career to find really great mentors. And mentors are really people that you can go to in those moments when you feel insecure, in those moments, and we all have them, when you have doubts. Am I doing the right thing? Is this, why did people push back? Why can I not do this? Mentors are kind of the safe space when you feel vulnerable and insecure, and we all do it. And they help you. They help you grow, and they help you kind of stay on the track or find new paths where you can go. And with that, I've been doing a lot of talking. I hope we still have time to open it up for some questions.
Yeah, we have probably like a little more than 5 minutes for questions. So yeah, everybody feel free to, thank you, Marielle, for sharing, the insight into your journey. One thing that stood out to me was all the collaboration and the different roles that you've held, and then all the people on your team that you worked with to utilize their skills too. So yes, please come off of mute. Feel free to throw your questions in chat. We have about 5 minutes to engage with Marielle.
Wow, it's a quiet crowd. I hope I was not too intimidating with all my stories.
I actually have a question for you. And I know you touched upon some of the obstacles that you faced within your career.
Yeah.
Is there is there a piece of advice for these teams as they're going through like their invention process, they're working on their projects currently, some are graduating. What would be the advice that you give to these teams, no matter where they are, about overcoming obstacles in general, whether it be based on product design or just, in life?
Yeah. Well, I think, again, I touched on it. Believe in yourself, believe in the passion and the project that you feel good about, and be persistent. But then also listen to people and be curious. It's very easy if you're very passionate to have kind of blinders on and only go one direction. Sometimes I think, especially if maybe you get some pushback or you come to an obstacle, it's sometimes good to step back and say, have I really looked at all the possibilities? Are there other ways to do this? Again, it comes back to being curious and not just be stuck on one idea.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, that flexibility is key for sure.
Yeah, it's good
What was
to
your
have the
favorite?
passion, but you have to have the balance between the passion and also be open for, hey, maybe there's other ways for me to do this and other ways to be successful.
What was your favorite product to work on?
Very interesting. Well, of course, my own company and the own app that I have developed, I'm very passionate about because that's really something that I built from scratch. But I'm also very proud of the current project or business that I built for Amazon because everybody told me it would not be successful. And we're about to now transition it back to the business ownership. And all of our leaders up to the top have really see the value and it's really cool to build something from scratch when people say it cannot be done. And that's why I use these two examples. Yes, and the why and why not. That's another thing I encourage people. And actually, it's not for me, it's Andy Jassy, our CEO, who always encourage people. When people say, this is not how we do things, or this is how we do things, keep asking why and why not, because that gets you to the bottom. If people have really foundational reasons, or it's just, well, this is just how we do it and that's what it is.
Awesome. Any other questions or thoughts? Lots of great insight here. And it's so cool to think about some of the products that we know and we see all the time, and to meet somebody like the brains behind it.
Of the brains, a little piece of the brain.
Mario, I have one more question for you, just because one of the final takeaways that you shared was finding a mentor. Along your journey, what were some of the ways in which you were able to identify a positive or successful mentor-mentee relationship, or where did you seek that? And what made it successful?
Yeah, I think it depends a little bit where you are in your career. And in Amazon, we have big mentor programs, and we are encouraged to find mentors. So Amazon is really big on it. But in my other roles, I would see people on LinkedIn that I admire and that I was like, wait, well, maybe I can just reach out to that person and can share my story and ask if they have things that I could learn from. It would be people in board members that would be on the board of companies that I worked for. So multiple different paths. And then to me, I have now in my role, and because of my experience, there have been people on LinkedIn, students that reach out, or we got Cal Poly students every year that come here to Amazon, and they reach out on LinkedIn and they ask me, they send me a message and they want to connect. And a lot of them are always surprised when I respond. They're like, oh, we didn't think we would get a response. And I said, well, if I feel that you're seriously interested in listening and to learning and to connecting, I've had the opportunity to have good mentors. So yeah, reach out, and you can always ask. It's what I said. You can always ask. The worst thing is people say no.
Very
create LinkedIn profiles. That's a good step. LinkedIn is an absolute wonderful tool for that.
That's a great piece of advice, especially for some of our teams that are like juniors and seniors. And I love, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody doesn't respond or says no, but there's no harm in trying to build up your network.
A lot of people like myself, again, we got help when we started in our careers. So we're more than happy to help people that are at the beginning of the career right now as well.
Awesome. Well, wholeheartedly, thank you, Mariel, for sharing not only your time with us today to be our keynote speaker, but all of the insights that you gave to our students, and for being such a project event supporter and part of our community. So
I love this. Yeah, I love these sessions. I love these teams. I love the passion. I love all the ideas. So keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, teams, keep it going. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mariel. All right. Now, with that, this is the perfect segue because Marielle did touch upon this in her keynote. Some of these mindsets that you all have really touched upon in your project invent journey. So ambition, agency, creative confidence, empathy, resilience, and curiosity. These are mindsets that we've seen you demonstrate in your projects, but we also know that you're going to transfer them to your next steps, whether it be continuing education, a profession, continuing your projects, or being an active member in the community. And it's really exciting to know that these are mindsets that you're going to hold on to and develop your entire life. So before we get to our awards, we do want to shout out, they're not in this call with us, but we do have some of the year awardees that we want to recognize. Our community partner of the year, we have 2 emerging fellows, so it's their first time doing Project Invent. Our fellow of the year and our volunteer of the year. All of these individuals have demonstrated some unique qualities and have really supported the Project Invent community and our team. So we just wanted to shout out Lee, Alicia, Dr. Arabia, India, and Kerry. And without further ado, we're going to spotlight our panelists again. They went off and in their deliberation room, they decided on the 2 awards that will be given out to teams today. They will be one of these 4 awards. So we have our Need Finder. So that's for a team that really listened to their user. The Product Pivot, which is for a team that overcame obstacles. The Explorer Award, which is for a team that prioritized learning, and the Moonshot is for a notably novel or impactful idea. Now, before we hand over the mic to those, we just want to remind everybody that to take a minute and give yourself a round of applause and just recognize the work that you've done, because whether or not you win an award today, we see you, we are truly inspired by you, and we're really excited to see where your projects go, how you're going to impact the community and continue to be these future change makers. So thank you, thank you. And with that, I will hand it over to our panelists.
All right. Thanks, Carrie. I've been elected as the lead presenter for our judge team. And we had quite a conversation about all the different like ways that the different teams sort of excelled and showed they really embraced the process and really learned and some really great ideas here. But we had to narrow it down. So just highlight a couple of the teams. So the first award that we're presenting is the Explorer Award, which is for the team that really prioritized learning. And we're awarding that to Team Title Titans, easy for me to say, Team Title Titans, because you did a lot of work to explore the aspects of the blue economy that were important, what the opportunities were, what the challenges were in that space, and you really looked into what might work, like sort of leaning into the unknown of looking into what might work to help move fish or other wildlife out of the area of an oil spill importantly, without injuring them. So great job there, and we really wanted to call you out for that. Any other judges want to step in and say anything else?
I was just reflecting, there was a lot of things I didn't know when that team was presenting their research findings. And so it was really clear that a lot of effort went into research and getting with the community partner, learning about not only technology, monitoring chemicals, but also biology, right? And marine biology and what that's all about too. So really great job of digging deep into the research. We're all super excited for you to finish your prototype and see how it works too. So yeah, keep crossing that finish line.
Yeah, it's great. Research is so important because you never know where your insight's going to come from or where you're going to uncover some morsel that somebody hasn't discovered or put two things together and somebody else hasn't. So great work.
Yeah, I'll tack on to that with just the sheer volumes of data that were up front, right there for us to read, and documented sources, which is especially nowadays with the emergence of AI is really important. You can fabricate anything, right? And you can ask ChatGPT and it'll spit some information out for you. So documenting where you learn these things and being really transparent with all that is very, very important. And yeah, just great to see that a really deep amount of research was done here. So yeah, just wanted to highlight that and applaud you on that effort.
Great. Cool. So moving on to the second award that we want to present, and that is the Moonshot Award, which is about a team that sort of takes on a noticeably novel and or ambitious idea. And so we wanted to recognize for the Moonshot Award, Team Hydrotrack, because what you sort of exemplified is that sometimes a big idea is a bunch of smaller ideas that sort of come together to form a bigger idea. And so that's what we sort of impressed with, taking the hardware, a drinking bottle, how do you measure the liquid? And then how do you make that into a behavior that's really really significant solution? So you combine hardware, software, an app, and created an online community to gamify and motivate behavior change, using competition to maintain people's attention, so they were paying attention to what they're drinking, and those little things add up to more than the sum of the parts. So great work. Any other comments, judges?
I live right next to a high school, and so when I work from home, I watch the kids park on the street. I live in Wisconsin, it's really cold. We can't even get our kids to wear coats here. Sometimes the high schooler kids don't think with their heads that great, but I think an idea like this where everyone knows intellectually it's important to drink water. I've got mine right here. Um, to actually reinforce the behavior, right? And find a way to make it fun and utilize that positive um, group community to enact change, I think is really meaningful. I was just really impressed with the way all those small ideas came together to make a genius invention. Nice work.
And I believe we all agreed that we all tried some ways of tracking our intake of water, and we all failed because it was way too manual, way too complicated. So it's really exciting to see something that might be automatically tracking your water intake for you, and you don't have the luxury of cheating. Like, yeah, of course I drank 6 cups of water by now. When truth to that, like, no, I did not.
Oh, that it's like, no, I did not. Well, thank you very much to our panelists again, and congratulations to our 2 award winners as well as our other teams too. As we said, like, honestly, I think this was the perfect way to start our virtual demo days. I'm leaving with this reinvigoration of like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see all the other teams, and we are so impressed and proud of the work that you all have done in this program and are going to continue to do. So thank you all. And yeah, with that, we just want to again say thank you. And this is the conclusion of our demo day. If you feel so inclined and you want to empower more young inventors, there are ways to continue to get involved, whether through donations, volunteering. I know I'm speaking to the people in the room who already know this and do this, but without you, these programs wouldn't happen. And we truly appreciate all of the work that every single person, from our fellows to our teams, to our volunteers, to our community partners, do to make this program happen. So thank you so much for joining today's call. And with that, we're going to wrap up our first virtual demo day. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you all, and we will be in touch and hope that you have a great rest of the week. Bye. Bye, Meadville. Bye, Narbonne.